Good evening, welcome to Left, Right and Centre. It is a huge day for India today, with lakhs registering to get themselves inoculated on the CoWIN app and many more lining up to get administered the vaccine itself. As the COVID numbers increase in a handful of states, the opening up of the vaccination process could not have come a day earlier. We have a super panel tonight: Dr. Randeep Guleria, Dr. Sangeeta Reddy of the Apollo Group, Abhay Soy of Max Healthcare, and several citizens who got the jab today. Well, we're going to go across now and be joined by our panelists. Dr. Randeep Guleria joins us. Dr. Guleria, it's a fantastic day. Finally, the entire process has opened up. Can you give us a rough idea of the number of people who've been vaccinated today?
I don't have the exact numbers, but the number of people vaccinated today is significant, and we must keep in mind that many individuals, the app actually opened a little late because of the fact that it took some time for the elderly citizen to get themselves registered, and therefore it took a little longer. But the number is significant, and as we know that a large number of people have registered, and in the next few days we will have a task on our hands in getting all of them vaccinated as early as possible.
So, Dr. Guleria, would you say that on day one, the numbers which we've seen overall across the country of citizens lining up is very encouraging, and that it's not an indicator of vaccine hesitancy by and large?
It's very encouraging. It, I think, blows away this issue that in the general public there will be a lot of vaccine hesitancy. And I think this was sort of shown by the Prime Minister himself when he led the way by getting himself vaccinated early in the morning. And that actually has sent a very strong message to the citizens of the country that you should come forward and get your vaccine when it's due, when you fall into the priority list. And that is something we're seeing across the country, that people are lining up, people are registering on the app and trying to get the appointment as early as possible to get the vaccine.
Dr. Guleria, just tell us a little bit about, all those people who lined up, for example, at AIIMS today. You would have met a few of them. Were they old people, infirm people? Were there people worried about, receiving the jab itself? I mean, what might happen? Will they have a fever? What did you tell them? What did your staff tell them? Was there a lot of enthusiasm?
There was a lot of enthusiasm, and there were people who were elderly who wanted to get the vaccine because they felt that they were in the higher risk group and they understood the risk that they had because of their age. And they were very keen that they should get the vaccinated as early as possible. There are also people who were actually wanting to get it straight away. Today in the morning, I was in the outpatient department also. I have an OPD today, and many patients who had comorbidities actually told me that, can I go from the clinic right up to the 8th floor and get myself vaccinated straight away? So that was the enthusiasm, that they just wanted to get the checkup done, at the same time go and get the vaccine shot also. Without realizing that there is a little bit of a registration involved, and that has to be also gone through, and we need to really develop a strategy as how can we get more and more people on board, both those who are registered but also those who walk in to the hospital or are coming in because they're not able to get onto the app.
And tell us a little bit about that app experience itself on day one. A lot of people were able to register, but they had difficulty in actually getting a date and a time at the place. Why did that happen?
So I think that happened because once the app opened, you were able to register, but it was not able to schedule an appointment, because in some centers there was still this issue of how many should be scheduled and how many can be given as a percentage of walk-in, and how many should be there for the healthcare workers and the frontline workers. Remember, we're still doing the second dose for the healthcare workers and still vaccinating the frontline workers. So a proportion needs to be developed, and this proportion has to be for the second dose, for the frontline workers, and then also for those who register, and also for those who walk in, and we need to try and accommodate them also. So in various areas, that proportion was still being sort of sorted out on day one. But I think as we move along, this will get resolved, and various centers will get an idea of how many people will they be able to register on a given day, schedule on a given day, and how many they will be able to take as a walk-in, based, and also how many they'll continue as far as the second dose is concerned for the healthcare workers and the frontline workers.
All right. We're also joined by Abhay Soy, Chairman and Managing Director of Max Healthcare, also Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, the Joint Managing Director of the Apollo Hospital Group. Thank you both very much for being with us. Abhay, any idea of the numbers across the country or at all of your branches of Max Healthcare, citizens who came up and got vaccinated?
So we vaccinated actually a little around 1,000 people, and 20 or 25% more had registered. I believe there were, of course, this is an exercise of humongous proportions and perhaps not been done before in this time and this scale either. So, this is this is the collaboration between the government. There are a lot of common interfaces such as the CoWIN app, which has to interface with our own systems and so on. So, of course, there were some glitches to start with, but after 12, most of them had got sorted out, and we certainly hope tomorrow is going to be a better day. I believe tomorrow is going to be a better day, and these numbers should ramp up significantly.
Dr. Reddy, what are the numbers that you saw?
So we started a little late in some of the centers because we were waiting for the state government, but today we crossed approximately 1,500 numbers. I think that what was really very encouraging and very significant is that people were very positive, and large number of phone calls saying, when can we come in, what should we do? So we've been counseling people about the process of registration on CoWIN. And I think that tomorrow we should see, further ramp up. But we crossed about 1,500 today.
Dr. Guleria, at AIIMS itself, how much further can you ramp up vaccinations of citizens? Or do you want to at all at this stage?
So at AIIMS, we have 5 vaccination centers, and we were doing between 500 to 600 vaccinations per day in these 5 centers. Now we've sort of divided that into those whom we are doing for the elderly and those with comorbidities, and those for our healthcare workers and frontline workers. We're working on a strategy as to how we can ramp it up further, opening more vaccination sites. But we must keep in mind that in a hospital, the more vaccination sites you put up, that much of your healthcare resources are required, both in terms of manpower and in terms of space. So we need to balance that out, because we don't want to compromise on our routine non-COVID care also. So we're already doing between 500 to 600 vaccines per day, and we would be able to ramp it up to some extent. But I think as the days evolve over the next few days, we will get an idea as to what is the actual numbers and what can we do per day. And based on that, we will have to look at different strategies, because we don't want that there should be a very large waiting list extending for more than a week or 2 weeks as far as vaccination is concerned. One would like to vaccinate as many as we can in the coming days based on the registration that is being done.
Abhay, when we were speaking a few days back, you mentioned to me that, it really depends on the number of shifts that your group actually employs to administer the vaccine to more people. So how many shifts realistically can you incorporate, say tomorrow onwards or in the next couple of days?
So Vishnu, presently you're permitted to vaccinate from 9 in the morning till 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the evening. So you can't do more shifts.
So basically 2 shifts, right? Or one shift, one large shift.
One large shift. We are prepared to do 3 shifts, 24/7. We believe we can do that. We have the manpower, we have the processes, and we clearly have the infrastructure. It's more available after 5, in fact, when a lot of the routine OPD work gets delivered upon already. So we, at some stage, will be looking at the regulations perhaps to ease up, so we would be able to do that.
Dr. Reddy, what about you? Your thoughts on expanding this?
So Vishnu, clearly we currently have immediately the capacity to do about 15,000 per day. And we are very clear that we can ramp this up even further. In the existing 43 centers that have got government approval, we're waiting for state and streamlining. Once we have all of them in place, because many of them have multiple nodes, we're really looking at this as a large public health, public service type initiative, and we don't want to disappoint anyone. So we can ramp up, all the way up to 20, 30,000 in the current scenario itself. Subsequently, if we can add our clinics, add other locations, because Dr. Guleria is absolutely right that if you spend a large amount of the hospital staff doing this kind of work, they're going to be taken away from other routine. But in a clinic and other scenarios, we can ramp this up further. But I think this is a correct beginning where, you start, you streamline, you watch the process. We've been very careful from cold chain to post monitoring to briefing of our patients. These are all elderly patients, so we've been briefing them properly about what symptoms to look out for. And I'm happy to say that today, not a single one of them really reported any kind of symptoms. So God's grace and a lot of good leadership, I think things have gone very smooth for our first day.
Dr. Guleria, it has gone off smoothly, but a lot of people today would still be, wanting to know. For example, I know a few people, elderly senior citizens, who have said that no vaccine hesitancy, but I don't want to register today. I still want to see how people are reacting. Are they getting a headache, a sore arm, or anything? So, what is your message to people like that?
My message would be very simple, that now we have more than 1 crore people who have got themselves vaccinated in India. And among these 1 crore, more than 1 crore individuals, there are many who are now elderly, both as far as the healthcare workers are concerned, the frontline workers, and now even the people who are in the priority list. None of them have had any serious side effects. There's been very close monitoring for adverse effect across the country and at a global level also. So I would just like to tell them that there's nothing really to worry about. You have enough evidence, and go by the evidence that is there in terms of the safety of the vaccine, the fact that there are hardly any or no side effects, and topmost leaders have now taken the vaccine and shown that it's safe and they're confident with it. So you must trust all of that and move forward. And I don't think now there's a place for vaccine hesitancy.
All right. Well, we've got a very special guest coming up in just the next few moments. I'm told we've got the Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, coming up. I'd like to thank the three of you very much for being with us, and we will, I'm sure, talk about this very encouraging process in the days ahead. Time now for us to take this short break. We should be back in a little while from now with the Union Health Minister. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. We are joined by a very special guest, the Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan. Thank you, sir, very much for being with us. Today is a wonderful day, isn't it? It's a day with so much positivity, so many people across the country lined up to get their jabs. Are you encouraged by the numbers that you saw today, sir?
Oh yes, certainly. Why not? You see, there was so much of speculation that the platform may not work. There may be vaccine hesitancy. People may not come forward, and so many stories of all nature were in the air. But I had checked the data at 8:30 just before being with you, and till 8:30 p.m. over 29 lakh people had registered on the platform. And if you see, if one person registers, he has the facility of registering for 4 people of the family. So if you take the average at, say, 1 people registering for, say, even 2 people, then this number becomes almost 60 lakhs. And if you think that everyone is registering for 4 members of his family, then this number even crosses 1 crore. I think even with 29 lakhs on the first day, when in the initial stages at 9 o'clock, when there was this news that broke out with the Prime Minister taking the first shot early in the morning, and then within a few minutes we saw that the platform went down. But since 10 o'clock in the morning, we could correct everything, and it's a seamless performance happening on the platform without any glitches of any nature. And we are confident, and earlier also we were confident that being a very robust platform with so many technical and all possible scientific things, you see,
Dr. Harshvardhan,
technology is used
we'll talk about COVID in a moment, but what you told us is very big. 29 lakh people have registered by 8:30 p.m. just before we started this show, and the actual numbers could be much more. It could be 1 crore because one person is allowed to register 4 people. So, just by it could be as much as 1 crore people are on the system on day one. Is that what you're saying?
Now, what you see right now, the data that I have is of 29.08 lakh registrations at 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
And you know that one person can register 4 people, including him. So I am just taking a gross average that even if one person has registered 2, then this number of people who have been registered for taking the vaccination, it becomes almost 60 lakhs.
Correct.
And if everyone is registering, say, for 4, it goes beyond 1 crore. But I am happy even with the 29 lakh people registering for only themselves on the first day of the, strategy. I think this is a very good number to be satisfied about.
It's a fantastic number, Dr.
So
Harshvardhan. What was your expectation before the day started? Before the day started, what would you have been happy with?
No, you see, we are confident, and we were sure that this is going to be a huge success. And I tell you today in your program that in the next few days or the next few weeks, you will see an exponential growth in this number. And I am an eternal optimist. I have always been positive and optimistic about whatever has been happening. Right from 16th January itself, there were so many issues raised about vaccine hesitancy and all. We fought it very strongly. We used every mechanism to clear the doubts, and ultimately we could prevail upon most of the healthcare workers and the frontline workers. And now I think you can see that the very fact that in the morning itself, the Prime Minister, who has always led us from the front in the last 1 year, he is leading by example, and he is taking a vaccine about which so much has been, created in the media circles by, politically vested interests and all. I don't know why, for what reason, what does it, how does it help them? There are so many things for doing politics and all the day you see on the television channels a number of subjects for doing politics, but there was no need for doing politics with this COVID fight. But in any case, ultimately I am a firm believer in the fact that the power of truth and power of honesty and sincerity is unbeatable.
Yep.
And truth has prevailed. People have ultimately been able to realize that what the government of Narendra Modi ji is doing and trying to help the people is with utmost sincerity and commitment.
Dr. Harshvardhan, you've got these incredible numbers which you say will rise exponentially, but that also means that all of these people are going to be standing in line to get vaccinated. Is that a concern for you, that the discipline in queues and in numbers is potentially a cause of concern?
It is not going to happen at one place. There are, the number of hospitals in the government as well as in the private sector, it runs into thousands, and it is spread all across the country. And moreover, every hospital has, in fact, on the platform, it has shown the numbers where it is capable of, how much number it is capable of vaccinating in a particular time. And if you will go into the nitty-gritty, all these appointments are according to the time schedule, etc. And all these factors that you are apprehending about, I think they have all been taken into consideration while we planned all those things. This national expert group was formed in the first week of August, and what you have been seeing since 16th of January, it is the ultimate outcome of hard work of so many people, experts, and all the officials and all the people in our health ministry, where they have been working round the clock for last many months and collaborating with all the states, bringing everybody on board, even up to the district level, with the DMs, the district immunization officers, hospitals, everybody, and lakhs of people have been trained all over the country. So it has all happened not in one day. So every factor has been taken into account while planning. So I have no apprehension about this particular aspect that you have thought would create problems for us.
Doctor, the mutant strains that we are seeing, the numbers even of the UK, the Brazil and the South Africa variant, that number has also gone up slightly. There is talk of a mutant strain in Maharashtra. And we are seeing this increase in numbers over the last several days in some states, 5 states, I believe. Is that something, is that the reason why you opened this up to the public?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. Let me, number one, clarify to you that as per the information and the advice that we have received based on detailed analysis and all from my own experts in the ministry and in ICMR, this increase in number of cases in Maharashtra, Kerala, or for that matter in few other states has nothing to do with the mutant strains, either of the Brazilian or the South African or the UK strain. I think it is something which needs to be attended with the I think strengthening once again of the COVID appropriate behavior of the society, doing more of testing and following the standard strategy which we pursued all through the year, testing, tracking, treating early and all that with utmost commitment. And we have sent central teams. We are doing meticulous observations around that issue. All our highest officials in the government up to the level of the cabinet secretary, they have been in touch with the chief secretary. Health secretary is also in touch with everyone. We are following it up with the state governments, and I am very hopeful that things are going to settle, and this recent spurt in the number of cases and all, this is not going to be a permanent sort of thing. It is going to subside in a while, but certainly they have to be given more attention than the usual attention, and people should not be complacent. They should not think that the vaccines have come, the cases are settling in the country, we have the least fatality rate, we have the highest recovery rate, so therefore we can relax. I think nobody can relax, nobody should relax, whether it is in Maharashtra or in any other state. People have to be very sincere about the COVID appropriate behavior. This is something which I have been pursuing all through the year. The Prime Minister has been talking about it, and I think we cannot afford to forget about it even for a moment, at least for a couple of months more.
You know, Dr. Harshvardhan, you would have seen how things progressed in Israel. It's a very small country, but there was a very sharp decline in the rate of infections after 28 days or 14 days after the second dose was administered of Pfizer, which was so my question is this: 28 days later, when people start getting their second dose, plus 14 days when we start developing antibodies, people start developing antibodies, would we see a sharp decline in the R factor, the rate of reproduction of this virus? The question is, when would we see a dramatic change, even more than what we've seen so far?
You see, the idea of giving vaccination to as many people as possible is basically it is to ensure that more and more people have antibodies against the COVID virus. You see, either you have to get the infection and then that's how you get the antibodies, or you have to get the vaccine to get the antibodies. And as the number of people who have got antibodies in the society, it increases. Certainly we are, strengthening our movement towards herd immunity. And certainly that scientifically that ultimately helps in a big way. And I'm sure that this that is ultimately the aim of vaccination also, to protect people at the individual level also, but to also protect the people at the community and the society level. So this is certainly going to contribute significantly to the development of herd immunity in our country, and that will ultimately help us in declining at a faster pace.
So, Dr. Harshvardhan, when will the other vaccines come online? For example, Sputnik had applied for emergency use authorization. They need to give some more data to you. I think Serum has something called Codagenix, which is in the works. There's Johnson & Johnson's outside the country with a single dose vaccine as well. We still don't have the details on Bharat Biotech, the efficacy data. So when will we know more? When will there be more vaccines in the market?
You see, it may be difficult, or I would say it may be, I may not like to hazard a guess about a particular date or a particular week or a month, but certainly the way things are progressing, and so many vaccines are in various stages of development, from preclinical to advanced preclinical to stage 1, stage 2, or to phase 3, and or to advanced phase 3, or to application with the Drug Controller of India. I think as the things move further, certainly vaccines, they will gradually start coming in the public domain. But we can be, I can assure you that absolutely that at no stage are we going to compromise with the safety aspects or the protocols or the scientific backing that they require to be subjected to used by the people of India. So this we had not allowed even for the earlier 2 vaccines which are being given to the people of India, and we are not going to allow that in future also. But I expect that in the coming months we should have a few more vaccines in the market.
Dr. Harshvardhan, when will we get the stage 3 efficacy data of Bharat Biotech? Because it shows a lot of promise, for example, against mutant strains. How close are we to getting that data?
I think the Bharat Biotech, as far as I know, they have already, I think their trial is done for so many people now, and with so many vaccines being given to these healthcare workers, frontline workers. I may not know the exact date, but I think everything is in the offing now, and very soon you may have that data also. But as far as its safety and immunogenicity data is concerned, that was already available when it was put in public domain and given the emergency authorization.
Dr. Harshvardhan, the cost of vaccines obviously differs from company to company. Pfizer was, you know, I mean, it was prohibitively expensive for India. Very few people would have been able to afford it had it come into India, for example. But the price that you've capped it at in the private sector is 250 rupees, which ensures that, I mean, lakhs of citizens will get it very easily, even if they are paying for it. But will this be the price, you know, going forward? Is this the fixed price for all vaccines in the Indian market?
You see, right now we had to actually negotiate with 2 vaccine manufacturers, and a group of senior officers, they have negotiated this aspect with the vaccine manufacturers, because ultimately we want to ensure that people are helped to the maximum possible extent, and that is why this price was fixed at 150 rupees, and the private hospitals were given the guidance to actually not charge more than 250 rupees. So 100 rupees is a maximum there. You see charges for whatever they have to system that they have to create for giving the vaccine, syringes, etc., etc. So right now we have ensured, you see, Government of India is procuring all the vaccines for the country. We have the Finance Ministry has made the funds available for us. Earlier the PM Cares Fund was also available for the vaccination of the COVID warriors, the frontline workers, and the health workers. And now we are providing all these vaccines after purchasing from the manufacturers to the state governments. The state governments are providing them to the hospitals in the government and the private sector. And I think all those who cannot afford even that much, they can go to any of the government sector, they get it free of cost. And those who can afford, they can easily go to the private sector hospitals and take the vaccine there.
So what you are saying is that you are going to be negotiating the price both with Serum and with Bharat Biotech going forward, that this number of 250 rupees in the private sector, in hospitals rather, is a figure for the moment. Going forward that may change, and that it might change for the other vaccines coming online as well. Is that, am I understanding you correct, sir?
No, what I am saying is that we have already negotiated the price, and this price that has come in public domain or in public, you see, public knowledge, is the price which has been negotiated by the government.
Right.
And this price has been capped at 150 rupees.
Yes.
Plus 100 rupees is, you can say, the service charges by the private hospital, and that is also the upper limit. If private hospital, if it doesn't wish to charge even that 100 rupees, they can charge lesser. Some private hospital may say that we don't want to charge anything for offering the services. So this is what we have done after extensive discussions, and we have, in the larger interest of the country and the society and the people at large, have got this consensus arrived after discussions with both the vaccine manufacturers whose vaccine is available for public use right now.
But in the future, the other drugs coming in may be more expensive. AstraZeneca, for example, was always among the cheapest, if not the cheapest, internationally of all the vaccines. There would be others which may be a single dose. Johnson & Johnson, for example, if it were to come into India, would they be able to sell that at the price you're saying? Would the government negotiate a price with them as well?
No, obviously, you see, as far as the government is concerned, we will always keep the interest of the people at the back of our mind, and it may be too early and too premature for me to be talking about some vaccine which has not yet arrived, which has not been, you see, either applied for approval, etc., etc. So these are subjects which may have to be discussed at that time. But certainly we are going to discuss and deliberate every aspect which has to ultimately fall in line and has to blend with the people's interest in general.
Dr. Harshvardhan, the other key aspect of this is supply. Given the numbers that you're seeing, very encouraging today, going forward, exponential rise in registrations will happen. That means there has to be an exponential rise in people getting the injections as well. Do you have enough supply across the country?
Yes, there is a group of ministers, and also supported by some of the senior secretaries of the government, of course guided by the Prime Minister himself, and then of course the External Affairs Ministry also collaborating with, and we are trying to strike a very good quality balance between what is the need of the country and what we have to do to strengthen and promote vaccine maitri or vaccine diplomacy, what people call. But our Prime Minister has a very, very, you see, statesman-like and very visionary approach, and we have always considered the whole world as our family. So we are looking after the interest of our people all across the globe also, and simultaneously not compromising with the interest of the people in India. So the type of balance that we have tried to strike right now, it will make sure that we are able to fulfill the needs and aspirations of our people as far as vaccination is concerned within the time frame which has been set by us.
Would you agree, Doctor, that one of the reasons why we are winning at this stage is because the cold chain and the distribution process is working? Otherwise, it wouldn't have gotten to where it needs to go.
You see, India has a very, very robust immunization program otherwise also, and we handle one of the biggest universal immunization program of the whole world, where we give 12 vaccines free of cost to our children. India also has the experience of having eradicated polio from the face of India, and of course it's going to be eradicated from the face of the whole world now very soon, with 2 more countries left with polio now in the whole world. So that polio vaccine had to be given to all the children of the country less than a particular age, that was 5 years, for years together, for almost 2 decades, and even now, when we are already a certified nation, and we could manage giving this at lakhs of our, you see, centers with a minus 20 degree centigrade availability of vaccine. So we already have so much of experience. We launched the biggest measles rubella campaign, vaccinating almost 330 million people just 1-2 years back.
Right.
So we have this total capacity, and we have now with the for the COVID vaccination, last 6 months we have been preparing, we have assessed the needs, we have augmented whatever was required with over and above what we already had in the cold chain. We have strengthened everything at all levels during the course of the last 6 months. So on the cold chain front, we don't speculate or anticipate any problem of any nature.
So, Doctor,
It
just
has
one
been looked into very diligently.
one or two more questions. Now, you've seen what has happened in the United Kingdom in the last recent while with that mutant strain, and the fact that a lot of people just didn't follow instructions and the numbers went out of control. The mutant strain meant greater transmissibility. Now, we are seeing this rise in numbers in India for the last several days. Are you worried that we may see the numbers going up even more sharply than what we've seen in the last 1 week?
Personally, I feel concerned all the time. That I have always felt myself concerned throughout the year for every development that has taken place on the COVID front. But I am not worried. I am now confident about India's ability, under the leadership of our Prime Minister and with all the state governments supporting and working on the same wavelength for last 1 year. And I am confident that we'll get out of this also. And regarding this mutation and all also, we had been doing all this genome sequencing, etc. in our science ministries for almost 8-9 months. Even before we heard about this mutant strain, we had been doing genome sequencing in our biotechnology, CSIR and ICMR lab. So we are thoroughly conversant with the issue, and we will certainly be able to handle this particular aspect that has arisen right now.
Doctor, one last question to you. So many parents are actually messaging us and saying, please ask about our children. Parents want to know when their children can get vaccinated. The answer is not immediately. So the question first, number one, when realistically do you believe that children can be vaccinated? And B, aren't you concerned about schools opening?
You see, Vishnu ji, please appreciate that these priorities have been fixed based on scientific data, scientific analysis and the behavior of the virus over the last 1 year. You see, virus's history is known to the whole world only for the last 15 months or so, 14-15 months or so. And the decision to vaccinate as per priority has been taken based on all the scientific, data, and also the data of the whole world, and of course the guidance given by the World Health Organization also. Our expert group had been working on this since August, and based on all these scientific facts and figures, we had put these priority groups in a particular order. So everyone is waiting for the turn. So after we have completed with the vaccination of 60 plus and maybe 45 to 60 with comorbidities, then will be the time to assess what else needs to be done, how do we go ahead, what is required. And I can assure you that everything will be based on scientific principles. We cannot do anything which is not based on scientific principles. And the health of the children and of course the school children is also a matter of great concern for all of us and for our parents as well as for our Prime Minister. My only appeal to everyone is that, the biggest tool with all of us that I have been propagating all through the 2020 is this social vaccine. This mask, I think, and the COVID appropriate behavior, the social distancing and the hand hygiene, I think these are some subjects which we need not forget under any condition. And this is something which needs to be again and again re-emphasized with our school children. We have to tell our principals, we have to tell the parents that this is something, if we can really ensure the sanctity of this COVID appropriate behavior in good measure, we are, I think, free from the risk of contracting COVID. That's
Right.
something which needs to be emphasized, and we would request NDTV. You have been propagating health messages so often with so much of commitment. You must, I think, keep the flag of COVID appropriate behavior also on with the people of India.
Absolutely. So that's a message we'll keep repeating to our viewers on a daily basis. And the important one, of course, is that between the first dose and when you start developing antibodies, it's a long period of time. You get your second injection after 28 days, and only 14 days after that do you start developing antibodies. That's an important message which we'd also share. So one last question to you, and I know you need to leave. People have been saying that they were registering today. The registration was smooth. They were not able to get an appointment because apparently a lot of the hospitals hadn't given CoWIN, the system, their availability and their slots. Is this correct? And if so, when will it get fixed?
You see, I may explain to you that today being the first day, you see, many of our private hospitals, etc., they had not, in fact, put the schedule which was available for the people. So tomorrow morning itself, we are having a meeting with the states and through them with the private hospitals, and we are going to request them that they should try and put a detailed schedule, say maybe for the next 1 month or so, on the platform, so that people have good quality options also. So these are not very significant issues. I think people might have faced some issues like this on the first day, but you are not going to face most of these issues in the coming days, and they will all be fixed properly. It is only because of the first day, some of the private hospitals and others, they have not been able to display what they are capable of doing on the platform.
Dr. Harshvardhan, it's been wonderful speaking to you, and thank you so much for being optimistic, exactly the way that you are. From day one to today, you've never lost hope, and that's what we need. That's what these vaccines actually ensure, and we will keep on our network spreading that message. We promise you that is something we will not cease doing. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, on day one, the vaccination process, we saw so many actually participate in this entire process. 29 lakh people registered. Well, we've got 4 people who actually are joining us who got their vaccination today. Sanghamitra Ghosh went to Batra Hospital for a jab over here in Delhi. There's Lav Kumar as well. There's Anil Kumar Upadhyay, and there is Sanjay Kala. Let me go across to Sanghamitra first. Were you nervous before the injection? Were you optimistic? Are you relieved?
No, I was excited and I was relieved because there's no other way to conquer this pandemic except through vaccines.
Anil Kumar Upadhyay, could you share with us your experiences? All right, we don't. All right, Sanjay, Mr. Kala, let me ask you that question. What was your experience like today?
Yeah, in fact, I was excited from last 10 days. I was calling doctors when we can get the vaccine done. Then they said that maybe on the 1st you might get it. And as we were excited and I wanted to start it as early as possible, so we get it done today in the morning itself. And we have 4 brothers and all 4 brothers did it today.
Sanghamitra ji, did you register on CoWIN or did you just go and for a walk-in?
No, I registered on the CoWIN. I had opened the CoWIN website 5 minutes to 9 because I knew that after 9 o'clock there'll be lots of hits. So I registered on the CoWIN, but I didn't get any message from the hospital. So I had to ring them up and find out that what is next. And then they told me I could come over and get my vaccine.
Lav Kumar, how difficult or how easy was the process for you?
No, it was not at all difficult, and in fact, we have been waiting for it. Practically, we are all senior citizens of group over here. We have been just locked up for about 1 year So we were just eagerly waiting, and I was very happy to have a vaccine today.
Mr. Love Kumar, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. No, I just therefore wanted to go across to my other panelist, Mr. Sanjay Kala. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, fine. So just got your names mixed up. My apologies. Mr. Kala, how difficult or how easy was the day for you, and were you well informed when you went to get your injection? Did they tell you, did they give you a medicine to say if there's a, if you're in any pain or anything, just take this pill? Was there anything like that?
No, no. In fact, we talked to the doctors there, and they said that we can get it there. And registration was not done. In fact, there was some problem in the, I think,
in the app.
In the app in the beginning, and even at the hospital, it was not being registered at that time instantly. They put it on the paper, on the register properly, and said that they will register it later on. But the process was very smooth. And they asked us to stay for half an hour at the hospital itself. And after half an hour, we didn't find anything, so they allowed us to go.
Ms. Ghosh, how long or how big were the queues? How long were the queues?
There was not much of a queue. There were about 6-7 people in the queue, but then their site was not working. So there were some technical glitches. So it took me about half an hour to register over there. And then once that was done, I just had to walk in and take my vaccine.
So
after which I was asked to wait for half an hour,
right.
And then I could leave. Yeah.
Right. And so, Mr. Kumar, on the 1st of April is when you're going to be getting your second dose, is that right?
Yeah, I think even before that, I may be going on 29th or 30th. They told me after 4 weeks.
Okay. So, are you relieved, Mr. Kumar? Do you feel relieved at this stage getting it? I mean, that you've had to wait, finally it's out, one dose is out of the way?
Yeah, I'm very much relieved because I think I can go back to a normal life. For about last 1 year, I've been physically locked up inside my house.
So, Mr. Kala, what is the message to people who are hesitant?
In fact, everyone has got a logic behind everything. When we have seen that more than 1.5 crore people have already done, and all those people are directly related with the medical field, and nothing has happened, so it is quite safe. We can presume it is quite safe to go for it, and that is why we didn't wait even for any other day. Like generally people say that you should wait for 2 days or 5 days or a week and see how it is happening. But we are seeing that from 1.5 month everyone is having the doses and nothing is happening. Right. So we can logically say that everything is safe and we should go for it.
So, Ms. Ghosh, have you confronted people who, friends or anybody else who've said they don't want to take the vaccine? I think we all have.
Yeah.
What is your message to them?
Most people are very positive. Yeah, most people are very positive, and I think most of my friends are all going ahead and they want to take the vaccine so that they are safe. And we can, I also want to take it because I want to travel and visit my children in the US. So I'm waiting for the second dose. And as soon as I get that, I'm going to be off.
Well, I hope you have a safe journey over there after you get your second dose. That will come up in the next couple of weeks. I'd like to thank all of you very much for joining us. We'll leave you with this story of a couple of case studies of individuals who got the vaccine today.
At 9 a.m., when registration for vaccinations opened, Mr. Ramamurthy, 54-year-old resident of Delhi, followed the government's instructions. He opened the CoWIN website and entered his phone number, but didn't receive the one-time password that would enable him to register.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was there. I tried it at around 9 o'clock. I couldn't able to get it. Then at around 9:30, I could able to connect.
He then tried the other method announced by the government, to log into the Arogya Setu app to book a vaccination slot. But the same problem again, no password.
So once you are logged in, you need to put in your phone number and get an OTP each time you log in.
Yeah. Since it is the first day of the project, you need to have some patience.
Many tried to register through the CoWIN app, which was being used so far to register frontline workers.
The government had said that the app would not be used today and that only the CoWIN website will be used for registration.
but perhaps had not publicized this enough. And so 2 hours after registration opened, the Ministry of Health clarified, this time on Twitter, that the app cannot be used for this latest phase. Some, like Mrs. Ghosh, a retired computer teacher, managed to get further in the registration process, but didn't hear from the hospital.
Today being 1st of March, I already knew that the vaccination would start around 12. So I opted for the afternoon slot. And then I just said confirm and it got confirmed. But then I didn't get any message from the hospital, any further message. So then I rang them up. I said that I've already registered and what next? So they said you can come over and we'll give you the vaccine. Because they kept saying the apps are not working and stuff like that.
Their neighbor, Mrs. Barma, who is 76 and living alone, does not feel tech savvy enough to register herself even though she wants the vaccine.
किसी ने बताया कि कैसे करना है, ये ऐप कैसे डाउनलोड करते हैं?
बताया भी नहीं और मैं इतनी मेरा सर दर्द हो जाता ज़्यादा सोचने से। साधारण तो फ़ोन सुन लिया और फ़ोन आ गया तो सुन लिया, अपना करना है तो कर दिया, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं आता मुझे।
It is the end of day 1 and vaccination slots for the next few weeks are already booked up. It is only the elderly who live with family or are unusually tech savvy who've been able to register themselves, which raises key questions about whether online registration is accessible enough. With Gauri Prasad and Pooja Arya, Meher Pandey for NDTV.